Hey y'all. So I'm gonna try and keep the volume down because it's kind of late. But I just finished watching A Scanner Darkly because I was like, I really want to watch a movie with Robert Downey Jr. in it, and then I remembered that that one has him in it, and also it's science fiction, and it's one I've been wanting to watch for a while. So, okay, so A Scanner Darkly, the movie, is based on a novel of the same name by Philip K. Dick. And I read the book like 3 years ago, and it's like super fucked up. And it's about drugs. And just about the only thing I know about Philip K. Dick was the guy did drugs. So, it would explain why so much of the stuff that I've read by him is like people losing their minds, drugs, nothing makes sense. It does make sense, but, okay, oh my god, this movie. It was good. Like, yeah, that was a good movie. Like, this got fucked up. I don't remember the book having kind of that hopefulness at the end, where he finds the flower, and he's, like, aware of reality enough to recognize it and to keep it. Maybe the book did, I just don't remember. I just remember reading the book and being like, I'm losing my mind. And I do also remember that since I knew the movie existed and that RDJ was in it, I was like, it's gonna be this character is the person he is gonna play. And I'm like 95% positive I picked the right character. It's like not really surprising. The guy who won't shut the fuck up, oh my god, Barris or whatever his name is, fucking annoying. Yeah, oh god, this movie. Yeah, so from what I can recall, it's pretty much just like the book. I love the fact that they did it in rotoscope. Like, this is the weirdest movie I've ever watched, as far as visually, because, like, rotoscope, I think I'm using the right term, rotoscope. I like that that's the way they did it, because it adds this, it adds another layer to the unreality that you kind of feel. It adds another layer between sort of the audience and reality at the same time as the main character, whatever his name is, God knows, Keanu Reeves, is like, freaking losing his mind. Can't remember that he's Bob Arctor, and that the wearing the gloopy suits. Like, I don't actually remember from the book whether Donna and Hank were the same person. I kind of guessed it partway through this, because I was like, that would be fucked up, and, like, I liked that. That was cool. I was like, oh my god. But, yeah. No, this was good, okay? I didn't know Woody Harrelson was in it, so that was cool. There were parts that were just like so odd, like the part where Freck was trying to kill himself, and suddenly it's being narrated by somebody like talking about how Freck decided he was gonna take all these pills and like dress up, and he's like, and then this alien comes and is like, for all of eternity you will be read your sins and the list will never stop, and it's like, I think it's basically just quote from the book, but it's like suddenly there's narration. Yeah, I thought it was a good movie. Like, in the same way that the book is good. I mean, it had, essentially it's just the book, but it's on screen. Why doesn't no one talk about this movie? It was fucked up. Also, Jesus, what was that list of names at the end that it was all like, all these people are dead or had permanent death? Some drug thing, I guess. Like, these assuming real people? Oh, man. I do remember when I read the book, it was like pretty fucked up revelation that New Path were the ones who were actually growing the drugs. Yeah, it's just messed up. Like, all the layers of messed up that are in this story, like, all the different lies and the different stories that are told. Like, you've got Keanu Reeves is, you know, is a narc, basically, but then also has no idea that his sort of girlfriend is also his boss, and that the whole thing, well, at first then he finds out that it's just because they were trying to catch Barris, who's psychotic, okay? And, I seem to remember there being something about that in the book that I felt was unfair. Like, almost like, I mean, Barris is, like, unpleasant, definitely, and kind of and nuts, and probably dangerous, but, like, they don't have any real evidence of that, exactly. Like, he's mostly just really paranoid, and lies about stuff a lot. And there is the part where that other guy, like, almost chokes to death and he doesn't do anything. But whether he could actually be part of a larger conspiracy that was actually running with weapons or anything, like, I don't think so. I think he's just an individual paranoid nuts person. But yeah, because I kind of seem to remember in the book feeling that it wasn't right that he'd been arrested, almost, because almost like, well, for one thing, it wasn't just paranoia, because, like, because Keanu Reeves really was, something really was going on. They really were being watched. So he was maybe picking up on some of, oh my god, he was so nuts, though, seriously. I like the scene with the bike, where they think it's only got 9 speeds, because they don't know how the fuck, speeds work on a bike. I like that was there. It, like, really illustrates, because there's other scenes where I could think, okay, this Barris specifically knows what he's talking about, but that scene demonstrates that he's an idiot and he has no idea what he's talking about. So you're like, at any other point, like, no, he's just making stuff up, and he's nuts. Woody Harrelson, great, yeah. Right, whatever. So Keanu Reeves then finds out that the whole thing was a sting to get Barris, who they think is dangerous, but then, like, more progresses, and it's actually, no, that's not actually what it was. Even, it was actually because they wanted all of this to happen so that he would end up a new path. And that was the only way to get somebody to the... So it's, like, really fucked up. But yeah, okay, so I enjoyed it a lot. Okay, but I'm like, this is sci-fi, and then I'm just, like, rambling about all these people doing drugs, and, well, I mean, the reason it's sci-fi is because it's kind of the dystopian element to it, that there's this drug, and that, I mean, there are tech elements that are, really, it's just sort of the suits, the camouflage suits. It's really that's the only high-tech element, frankly. Like, everybody's got crappy old cars, and the cell phones. I mean, this movie was made in 2006, so the cell phones look like 2006. And the book, I don't really remember when that was published, but certainly earlier, probably in, like, the 60s or something. Maybe I actually don't know. I just made that up, but it's certainly a lot older. So that it's not really something that matters necessarily as far as the technology. But yeah, the idea of this sort of messed up government thing, and just the huge waste of time that, like, all of it seems to be with him spying on himself, essentially. Like, all those scenes where he's, Keanu Reeves is watching the surveillance stuff from the house, and watching himself, and not, and getting to the point where he doesn't recall that he is actually both of these people. Yeah. Messed up. Yeah, so it's just kind of like you watch and you're like, my brain is melting. Oh my god, what is reality? Who knows? So whatever. It's a good movie. It was a really good book. I like the title, A Scanner Darkly. Yeah, so it's very Philip K. Dick, very much. Like, do yourself, if you like sci-fi, do yourself a favor and read some Philip K. Dick, because his shit is nuts, really. but it's like you can't read too much of it in one go. Like, you read one book of his and it's like, okay, I have to take like 5 months off and not read any more Philip K. Dick for ages because, oh my god. But I've only read like a couple of his books, but they were good. Anyway, I guess I basically wrap it up. Saying it was a good movie. Oh, I like to talk about aesthetics sometimes, don't I? This one doesn't. Well, I mean, the rotoscope. The rotoscope is interesting because it's like if this were just filmed normally, or if it were just straight up a cartoon, that would be almost both of those would feel real, more real than rotoscoping. Rotoscoping, at least in the way they do it in this movie, really doesn't feel real. Like, there's this element to it where it's like you know that they drew over and painted over the actual frames, the frames of like what the actors were doing and stuff. So everybody looks like the actors who are playing them. But the colors shift and stuff, and there's just this element to it where like everything is smoother and much less detailed than it really would be, like the grass, for example, or like nothing really looks like it's touching each other. When he at one point picks up a plastic bag, and it honestly sort of looks like the plastic bag was just floating above the ground. You know it wasn't. It's meant to actually just be sitting there, but it doesn't look like it's actually touching the ground because nothing looks like it's touching anything, because it's just like, it's this whole element of unreality that basically makes it the perfect way to do this movie. It's like, it's the only movie I know of that is entirely rotoscoped in this way. Not that I know a ton about movies, but still, I think it's basically the only one that's done like this, and it's cool. It's very much for an effect that I think they got. So that was a good movie, and it was totally worth it.